You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. Lewis. Age may change our appearance, health, and life circumstances, but it cannot limit our capacity to hope, learn, and shape the future. What truly makes a person old is not the number of years they have lived, but the moment they give up belief that tomorrow can be better than today. Goals are like a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean. When there is a destination to strive for, people find life more meaningful, their spirits more motivated, and difficulties easier to overcome. Conversely, without goals or dreams, the mind easily slips into a state of stagnation. Many believe that youth is the only time to start, to explore, or to pursue new things. They build invisible limits for themselves with phrases like, "It's too late, I don't have enough time left," or "What can I possibly do at this age?" In reality, these barriers lie not in time, but in perception. Life is like a long book with many different chapters. Some mistakenly assume that once they reach a certain age, the story is drawing to a close. But the truth is, every new chapter can open up new opportunities. Some find their passion after retirement. Some begin learning a new skill in middle age. Some discover their life's calling only when their hair has turned gray. What matters is not the age at which you start, but whether you have the courage to start at all. Imagine an ancient tree that has weathered decades of wind and rain. Though its trunk is massive, it still buds and grows new leaves every spring. Humans are no different. Maturing does not mean stopping growth. On the contrary, years of experience bring wisdom, resilience, and depth that youth may not yet possess. A new dream at 40, 50, or 70 is no less valuable than a dream in one's 20s. Sometimes it is even more powerful because it is nurtured by experience and a deeper understanding of life. The future is not determined by age, but by spirit. As long as the heart can still stir at new possibilities, and as long as the mind remains ready to learn and hope, life will continue to open doors ahead. No one is too old to embark on a new journey. No one is too late to write another meaningful chapter of their life. And sometimes, the most beautiful dream is the one that begins just when we thought all opportunities had passed. A positive attitude creates a beautiful day, and a beautiful day creates a beautiful year. Mandy Hale. Many often think that a great year is made of major achievements, monumental milestones, or rare opportunities. However, the reality is different. A year is not built from extraordinary moments, but woven from hundreds of ordinary days. And each of those days begins with something seemingly very small: our attitude toward life. A positive attitude is not about denying hardships or pretending that life is always perfect. It is the ability to see light even when the sky is filled with dark clouds. Just as a sailor cannot control the direction of the wind, but can adjust the sails, we cannot control every event that occurs, but we can entirely choose how we respond to them. It is that very choice that decides the quality of a day. A positive mind is like a transparent lens. Looking through it, challenges are no longer blocking walls, but stepping stones to growth. Criticism becomes an opportunity for self-improvement. A failure becomes a valuable lesson. A seemingly ordinary day can become meaningful through gratitude, perseverance, and faith in the future. Positive emotions have the power to broaden our thinking and enhance our creativity. When optimistic, people find solutions more easily rather than just seeing problems. They build better relationships, make wiser decisions, and possess more motivation to act. Therefore, A great day is not one devoid of difficulties, but one where we keep our inner positive fire burning despite them. Visualize life as a vast garden. Each day is a seed sown into the soil of time. If we sow pessimism, fear, and complaints, the garden will grow thorns of disappointment. But if we sow hope, gratitude, and a positive spirit, over time, that garden will bloom with flowers of success and happiness. No one can grow a beautiful garden overnight, just as no one can have a great year through a single big decision. Everything begins with small choices repeated daily. The profound value of this quote lies in reminding us that life does not change in a single moment, but day by day. A positive attitude creates a meaningful day. Many meaningful days build memorable years, and looking back, we realize a great year is not a random gift of fate, but the result of countless days lived with faith, optimism, and an unrelenting drive forward. The sooner you step away from your comfort zone, the sooner you'll realize that it really wasn't all that comfortable. Eddie Harris. We have always called it a comfort zone because it provides a sense of familiarity, stability, and low risk. But what is familiar is not always synonymous with comfort. Sometimes, the place we deem safe is actually an invisible cage trapping our potential, aspirations, and self-growth. We prefer what is familiar because the brain always prioritizes certainty over uncertainty. It favors familiar tasks, familiar relationships, and habits repeated day after day. However, familiarity sustained for too long often turns into stagnation. It is like a ship anchored indefinitely in a harbor. While the harbor protects the ship from storms, it is not where the ship was made to stay. Its true value lies out in the vast ocean. Interestingly, many stay in their comfort zones not because they are happy, but because they fear change. They accept an exhausting job, an uninspired life, or self-imposed limitations simply for the sake of familiarity. Over time, boredom, regret, and a sense of being trapped begin to surface. At that point, the comfort zone is no longer a pleasant refuge, but a cramped room where dreams slowly suffocate. The paradox of life is that growth always comes with a bit of discomfort. A muscle only strengthens when challenged. A seed can only become a great tree by breaking through its protective shell. A person only matures when they dare to enter new experiences, accept mistakes, and learn to face the unknown. Initial fear may make us hesitate, but on the other side of that fear usually lie capabilities we have never discovered about ourselves. The comfort zone offers short-term peace of mind, but robs us of long-term satisfaction. Meanwhile, daring to challenge oneself may cause temporary anxiety, but it builds pride, confidence, and lasting meaning. It is precisely new experiences that show us we are stronger than we thought, more flexible than we imagined, and capable of adapting to far more than we ever believed. This does not deny the value of security, but serves as a reminder that growth does not reside within familiar boundaries. Only when we find the courage to step outside do we realize that what we once called a comfort zone was sometimes just a zone of procrastination, fear, and self-limitation. And from that very moment, life begins to expand. New horizons appear, new opportunities take shape, and we become better versions of ourselves, not because we avoided all risks, but because we dared to live larger than our fears. How dare you settle for mediocrity when the world has made it so easy for you to be extraordinary? Seth Godin. So many limits in life do not come from external circumstances, but from compromises made within ourselves. In an era where knowledge is at our fingertips, opportunities are everywhere, and connectivity is virtually limitless. Accepting a mediocre life is sometimes no longer the result of deprivation, but of giving up the aspiration to rise. Humans tend to seek comfort rather than growth. The brain is wired to conserve energy, avoid risk, and maintain familiar routines. Because of this, many unconsciously choose the path of least resistance, doing just enough, making moderate efforts, and settling for what is already there. Initially, this brings a sense of relief, but over time, that false satisfaction can turn into profound regret. For somewhere in our souls, we all know we can become a better version of ourselves. An eagle born with powerful wings to conquer the sky might spend its entire life walking on the ground with chickens. It still lives, still exists, but never actually experiences what it was created to do. Many people live just like that. They possess talent, but do not develop it. They have dreams, but do not act. They have opportunities, but do not dare to seize them. The greatest tragedy is not failure, but never testing the limits of our true potential. Today's world offers things previous generations could hardly imagine. With just a phone, we can learn from leading experts, access humanity's vast treasury of knowledge, build a career, connect with inspiring people, and create value for millions. Doors that were once tightly shut are now wider open than ever. The issue is no longer whether opportunities exist, but whether we have the resolve to step through those doors. Excellence does not mean having to become famous or outshining everyone else. True excellence is the process of continuously surpassing your former self. It means being a little better today than yesterday, slightly more understanding, slightly more persistent, and slightly more courageous. Every small step forward contributes to building an extraordinary life. Life is not just about existing, but about growing. Not just about passing through years, but utilizing the gifts life has bestowed upon us. Because when the world provides countless tools to learn, grow, and succeed, the only thing that can stop us from becoming outstanding is settling too soon for mediocrity. And sometimes, the greatest revolution of one's life begins with a simple question: am I truly living up to my potential? Talent is God-given. Be humble. Fame is man-given. Be grateful. Conceit is self-given. Be careful. John Wooden. Some things in life are gifts. Some are results of support from others, and some are traps set by our own minds. Talent is often seen as a special advantage. Some are born with the ability to learn quickly. Some possess outstanding creative minds, while others have natural gifts for leadership, art, or communication. Whether explained through religious faith, genetics, or natural luck, the truth is that no one completely creates their own initial traits. We do not choose where we are born, nor do we decide the innate talents we possess. Therefore, talent is not a cause for pride, but a reason for humility. Just as a person is given a rare seed, the pride lies not in owning the seed, but in how they tend it, so it blooms into a beautiful garden. Fame is a different story. No one can achieve fame entirely on their own. Behind all recognition is always the presence of those who listened, trusted, supported, and offered opportunities. A business owner needs customers. An artist needs an audience. A leader needs followers. Success may start with personal effort, but fame only exists when recognized by the community. Thus, gratitude is the most appropriate attitude when faced with the admiration of others. When understanding that their success always bears the mark of many supporting hands, people retain sincerity and appreciation for life. If talent is a gift and fame is recognition, then conceit is the product of a skewed self-perception. It appears when one begins to believe that all achievements are entirely of their own making. Conceit is like a fog over the mind, making us see ourselves as larger than we are, and others as smaller than their true worth. More dangerously, it stops people from learning because they believe they already know enough. And when a person stops learning, their growth begins to stall. A great tree towering in the forest must sink its roots deep into the earth the taller it grows. If it only strives to reach upward while forgetting its roots, the first storm can easily topple it. Humans are the same. The greater the success, the more necessary humility becomes. The more fame one has, the more important gratitude is. And as praise grows louder, caution against the ego becomes all the more vital. Be humble, because what you have is not entirely of your own making. Be grateful, because what you achieve always involves the help of others. And be careful of conceit, for it is the only one of the three built entirely by you. Many are defeated not by a lack of talent or opportunity, but because they let their ego outgrow their wisdom. And in the journey of life, those who travel furthest are often not those who always look down on others, but those with the strength to succeed while keeping humility in their souls. Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. Earl Nightingale. What we think about regularly gradually shapes how we feel, act, and ultimately the life we create. The subconscious mind is like a fertile soil lying deep beneath the surface of the mind. It does not distinguish between good and bad seeds. It only receives what is constantly sown and nurtured with strong emotional energy. Many assume life is determined primarily by external circumstances. In reality, however, most human behavior stems from invisible beliefs stored within the subconscious. Someone who constantly tells themselves they aren't good enough will gradually act as if that were true. They hesitate before opportunities, fear challenges, and easily give up in the face of failure. Conversely, someone who constantly nurtures the belief that they can learn, grow, and overcome difficulties will develop a completely different attitude. They do not see obstacles as dead ends, but as an inevitable part of the journey to success. The subconscious operates like a silent gardener. Each repeated thought is a seed sown. Each accompanying emotion is the water that nurtures that seed to grow. If we drench our minds daily with fear, pessimism, and self-denial, our inner garden will be overgrown with weeds. But if we sow faith, gratitude, perseverance, and positive visions of the future, over time, those seeds will take deep root and create astonishing changes. Crucially, the subconscious is not swayed by fleeting thoughts. It is programmed by repetition. A single drop of water cannot wear away stone in a day, but millions of drops falling on the same spot over a long period will leave a distinct mark. The human mind operates in a similar fashion. Thoughts repeated daily gradually become beliefs. These beliefs become habits. Those habits create actions, and actions ultimately shape destiny. A thought repeated superficially has very little influence, but when it is bound with intense emotion, like faith, determination, gratitude, or burning desire, it carves into the subconscious like letters etched in stone. For this reason, high achievers do not merely visualize their goals, but deeply feel the joy, meaning, and excitement of moving toward them. be cautious about what you allow to dwell in your mind, for every repeated thought is silently constructing your future. Outer life is often a reflection of the inner world. If you want to change your circumstances, first change the seeds sown in your subconscious daily. Nurture positive thoughts, strong beliefs, and good feelings. For just as the sun eventually coaxes a well-tended flower to bloom, what you plant in your mind today will become the reality of tomorrow. For every reason it's not possible, there are hundreds of people who have faced the same circumstances and succeeded. Jack Canfield. When facing a major goal, people tend to focus on the difficulties, barriers, and reasons why they might not succeed. We see a lack of time, money, knowledge, relationships, or favorable conditions. But it is worth reflecting that these obstacles do not exist solely in our lives. Countless people before us have faced similar, if not harder, circumstances, yet they still found a path to success. When encountering something new or challenging, the mind naturally searches for threats first. That is why we can easily list dozens of reasons to quit, rather than finding one reason to keep going. Fear of failure, rejection, loss, or inadequacy often drapes itself in the cloak of rationality. It convinces us that inaction is the safest choice. Yet, human history is written by those who refused to let fear dictate their future. Two people stand before a tall mountain. The first looks up and sees only steep slopes, treacherous cliffs, and an endless road. The second sees all of those things too, but also notices the footprints of those who have climbed it before. The difference lies not in the mountain, but in how they interpret it in their minds. One sees a reason to stop. The other sees proof that conquering it is entirely possible. In life, many boundaries are not concrete walls, but psychological ones. Some are born into poverty, yet still build admirable careers. Some fail repeatedly, but ultimately achieve greatness. Some start later than everyone else, yet still leave their own mark. What they have in common is not being luckier than others, but refusing to view circumstances as the final verdict on their lives. Interestingly, every time we hear a story of overcoming hardship, the brain gradually changes its perception of our own abilities. These examples act like beams of light, piercing through the fog of doubt. They prove that what seems impossible is not actually so. It is simply that a way has not yet been found. When perception changes, actions change. And when actions change, results begin to change as well. Obstacles are real. Challenges are real. But just as real is our capacity to overcome them. Every reason that makes you think you cannot succeed has already appeared in someone else's life before. And somewhere in the world, people in similar or even worse situations have turned the impossible into the possible. So, instead of focusing only on what holds you back, look for evidence of hope, because sometimes the only thing separating failure and success is not circumstances, but the belief that we can take one more step. Suffer the pain of discipline, or suffer the pain of regret. Jim Rohn. In life, pain is inevitable. We are simply given the right to choose which kind of pain we will face. One is an orderly, purposeful pain, guided by discipline. The other is a quiet, lingering, and corrosive pain born of procrastination and things left undone. Discipline, at first glance, always appears rigid and demanding. It is waking up early when the body wants to sleep more. It is continuing to study when the mind wants to rest. It is rejecting short-term temptations to work toward long-term goals. In the present moment, discipline can feel uncomfortable, even exhausting. It is like training muscles. Every single repetition brings a bit of soreness, yet inside those sensations, a person is being shaped, becoming stronger, and gaining better control over their life. In contrast, the pain of regret is silent, yet far more persistent and profound. It does not strike immediately, but accumulates over time. It is the feeling of looking back and wondering, if only I had started sooner, if only I had tried harder, or if only I hadn't given up. Regret creates no positive change. It only leaves one trapped between an unalterable past and an unreturnable present. If discipline is a pain with meaning, regret is a pain with no escape. We easily choose to watch an entertainment video over learning a new skill or postpone hard work to seek short-term comfort. But it is precisely those repeated small choices that determine the outcome of a lifetime. Discipline, therefore, is not a single act, but a series of conscious decisions to overcome our own instinct to procrastinate. The first path is rugged, demanding patience, effort, and sometimes sacrifice. The second path is flatter in the present, but the further we go, the heavier it becomes with things left undone. Those who choose the first path may find every step difficult, but they are building a structured future. Those who choose the second path may find early comfort, but pay for it with regret later on. The key point this quote emphasizes is not coercion, but conscious choice. Life cannot avoid pain, but we have the power to decide which kind of pain will shape us. One pain helps us grow, become stronger, and be freer. The other pain makes us look back and regret past opportunities. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the path to true freedom, and regret is not a gentle lesson, but the price of inaction. Realizing this, people begin to change how they live day to day, knowing that the future is not determined by what they dream, but by what they are willing to endure today. Train people well enough so they can leave. Treat them well enough so they don't want to. Richard Branson. This represents the balance between competence and loyalty, between empowerment and retention. It is not just a human resource strategy, but a profound philosophy about people, values, and workplace relationships. In the first part, train employees well enough so they can leave, we see the spirit of development. A strong organization is not one that keeps people dependent, but one that elevates them to become capable, confident, and independent. Training here is not merely about transferring skills, but giving them the ability to think, solve problems, and grow professionally. Properly developed employees are not confined to their current roles. They can enter the labor market with clear value and real competence. While this may seem contradictory to corporate interests, it is actually the foundation of a sustainable organization. Humans always possess a need for self-development. When an environment stops helping them progress, they will look elsewhere. Training good employees is not creating a risk of losing them, but acknowledging a natural law. People always move toward growth. An organization that fails to nurture this will soon stagnate a place where talent is suppressed rather than unleashed. But the second part reveals another depth. Treat them well enough so they don't want to leave. If training builds competence, then treating them well builds engagement. People do not work solely for salary or promotion, but for the sense of being respected, recognized, and belonging somewhere. A positive work environment is like a healthy ecosystem where each individual feels their value is seen and their contribution matters. When employees feel they are not just a resource, but a human being who is genuinely cared for, they build an emotional connection to the organization, and this connection can sometimes be stronger than material benefits. One might leave a job that is technically good, but it is incredibly hard to leave a place where they feel respected and belong. Combining the two halves creates complete leadership artistry, developing people so they can choose freely, yet building an environment meaningful enough that they choose to stay. This is not control, but understanding. Not retaining people through restrictions, but retaining them through value. Looking more broadly, this applies not just in business, but in all lasting relationships, friendships, family, or any community. When people are developed, they become free, but when they are appreciated, they choose to stay. And that voluntary choice is the foundation of long-term commitment, not coercion. The true value of an organization lies not in how many people it retains, but in how many people it has helped to become better. Because when you help people grow, they might leave, but if you treat them with respect and humanity, they will always carry gratitude wherever they go. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. Dale Carnegie. One side points outward, where goals, achievements, and aspirations are shaped. The other side points inward, where acceptance, gratitude, and peace are nurtured. Success, in common understanding, is a journey of conquest. It is measured by clear milestones, a higher position, a fuller bank account, greater fame, or a specific completed goal. Success drives us forward, pushing past limits, breaking old boundaries, and constantly expanding our own capabilities. It is the motivation that wakes us up each morning with plans, goals, and the pressure to achieve something. But success, if it stops at simply getting what we want, has a fragile characteristic. It is always shifting. Once we achieve something, a new desire emerges. When one peak is conquered, another appears in the distance. The human mind, lacking a natural stopping point, continuously establishes new standards. Thus, if we rely solely on success to find satisfaction, we can easily fall into a state of never feeling fulfilled. Happiness, however, has an entirely different nature. It does not lie in possessing more, but in the capacity to fully appreciate what we already have. Happiness is when we can look at our current life and see it as full, even if it isn't perfect. It is the peace of sipping a warm cup of tea on an ordinary day. It is gratitude for having health, family, and a home to return to. It is the ability to find meaning in the little things we once took for granted. Humans tend to adapt quickly to good things, a phenomenon often called hedonic adaptation. When a goal is reached, the initial rush of joy gradually fades, and a new baseline is established. Without gratitude and acceptance, we will continue chasing new targets without ever feeling truly complete. Therefore, happiness is not a destination, but a way of seeing. Success is the journey of adding on, while happiness is the art of enough. One can be successful yet unhappy if they always feel deficient despite achieving much. Conversely, one might not have outstanding achievements, yet still be happy if they appreciate what is present in their life. The point is not to choose between success or happiness, but to understand the relationship between them. Success may provide the conditions to live better, but happiness provides the reason to live more meaningfully. When we both strive for goals and appreciate the present, we are no longer trapped between aspiration and emptiness, but begin to live in balance. The deepest maturity lies not in achieving how much we want, but in learning to feel content with what we have. while continuing to move toward better things.